Hello again, SGBers. I'm Companion Wolf with another Smile Game Builder tutorial video. This video is another in the tips and tricks tutorial series, focusing on some of the smaller, simpler things you can do in SGB to add a bit more dimension and depth to your games. Regular followers of my video will no doubt have noticed that this isn't the usual Sunday-Monday slot for when I upload videos, and this is because I'm aiming for 2 videos per week now, one dedicated to SGB itself and the other to Unity SGB. For this reason, make sure you click the subscribe button so you don't miss out on the notifications of when I upload new videos in the SGB tutorials and showcase series. I had planned that this video would be on exporting SGB games to Android through Unity, but I'm not quite ready for it yet. Just doing a bit more testing on my own phone, and if it goes well, it'll be Sunday's tutorial instead. And to add to that, there might not always be 2 videos per week, at least in the beginning. I'm trying to find a balance between all of my projects, including SGB and work, and once that's established, then that is when these 2 videos will be uploaded more regularly and more consistently. Before I continue proper with the tutorial, I'd like to first address 2 things. The first is, please do not ask me to provide free download links to the SGB software or any of its DLCs. I will not do it. If you're desperate enough for them, then save up as much as you can, and eventually you'll get there. It'll be much more rewarding when you can buy them, having saved up for them. And you never know, by the time you have enough money saved up, Smileboom might have 1 or more of them on sale. Let's begin with a short method for activating transparent events, where you can set events to appear and disappear on maps in various ways, depending on what triggers them and what kind of effect you're going for. The first method is using a conditional switch. I've named mine Appear Disappear, where appear is off and disappear is on. So on the first sheet, the condition is set to off with the event graphic fully visible. In this case, it's one of Serenity Games Studios' Snowman from the Christmas Volume 1 pack. And on the second sheet, the switch is on with no graphic, so that the event will become transparent when that switch is toggled on. Oh, and make sure that on this sheet, Collide with Player is also unchecked. So doing a quick play test with debug open, we will now toggle the appear and disappear switch on, and the first snowman that little snowman will disappear, and if we turn it off, he will reappear. Of course, you'd need to add the trigger switch elsewhere, perhaps after a quest or another event, and then to reset it after leaving the map, if you want to, you can add another switch command in the exit event itself to turn it on or off. The second method is through a conditional variable switch. I'll cover switches as a whole in another tutorial. So setting up our snowman again, on sheet 1, add the condition where an assigned variable is greater than a certain amount. In this case, I set it to trigger when map ID variable, which I've recycled from something else rather than rename it or add another variable for now. I've set it to greater than 3. The graphic is blank and Collide with Player is unchecked as well. And then on sheet 2, add the condition where the variable is less than or equal to a certain number. In this case it was 3 from sheet 1, and the graphic is set to our snowman. You can see why the operator is greater than on sheet 1. This means that if the variable is between 0 or less and 3, the snowman will appear. But if it's 4 and above, it'll disappear. Right, you can see this in action with the debug window open again. So the snowman here appears because it's in between 0 and 3. But if we change this to 4, then he'll disappear. And of course we can actually use negative numbers, so I don't know, -4, and he'll reappear again. Basically anything above 3 will disappear, and anything below 0 he'll reappear. It's a cool little trick. Now the third and final method is it was requested by someone. It was using timers to switch things on and off, which I'm not covering in this video, but I will in a future tutorial dedicated specifically to the subject, including the newly added timer common event and how to use them. In fact, if anyone's interested, Soaring Streams has a farming and resource regeneration showcase video up where crops and resources grow and regenerate over time. It's really cool and showcases what can be done with timers and timed events. The link to his video will be in the description. For the next part, I'm going into a house. Now, several RPGs give you the option to open and close curtains. For something so trivial seeming, it actually adds immersion and depth to those games. Sometimes the littlest things can become its greatest assets. Well, you could do the same thing in SGB using a very simple but effective method. Now, instead of placing your windows as objects as you normally would, you'd create a new event and change the graphic to the window. It will be under decoration, and looking through the available windows, I'm quite surprised that Smile Boom didn't include curtained windows as part of the default assets. But still, it's no big deal because we can pretend, right? And besides, anyone familiar enough with Blender can create their own, including perhaps, you know, a little animation for opening and closing curtains. Okay, so sticking with the defaults, on sheet 1, the window is a normal unlighted window for the closed curtains, and we can actually use a local variable as its condition. On this sheet then, the local variable is equals to 0 in the conditions. You don't really have to put this there, but I do still put it there for consistency. And then in the event details, we add a variable box. Let me switch to this, it'll be easier. We add a variable box set to the local variable. Sheet 2 is essentially the same as sheet 1, except the graphic is changed to its lighted equivalent for open curtains. The local variable is equal to 1, and the event details in the local variable is simply reset to 0. This, of course, is a localized Boolean switch where 0 is off and 1 is on, because local variables are exclusive to the events they're being used in. So now to play test it, I will make the start point here. There's no need for the debug window because it doesn't apply, and there's no facility to watch any of the local variables in it either. So, looking around, we can toggle it on and we can toggle it off. As the character interacts with the window, it'll lighten and darken the window, representing the opening and closing of the curtains. It's something really simple and easy to use, but it'll certainly add something to your game. I'll be using local variables a lot more in many of my future tutorials because they're very useful and can be recycled within the event rather than additional global variables for the purpose. Now I'm going to bring this tutorial to an end for now. I know this video is rather short, but I wanted to get something up for you. If you found this video useful, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and click the bell icon as well so that you can be notified of my future videos. I will start live streaming SGB very soon, probably within the next few weeks, but most likely in February. I should imagine it'll be on YouTube, but I'll announce this on Twitter and Facebook nearer the time. So that's it for another video in the Smile Game Builder Tutorials and Showcase series. Thanks for watching. Until the next time.